as if you're VR but still have real drones.
Yeah.
VR cameras.
Yeah, okay, so like that would be the start for a mind control Quidditch project. Like just even like just building a drone and like getting the mind control algorithms working. And then after that, you
get
have
a VR game working and then get the drones working.
Oh yeah.
Because the brain control is like the main part, right?
Yeah.
So I get a VR brain control game.
Yeah. And then like after that, then you do like, then you just do like a mind control prosthetic arm. And after that, you then attach the prosthetic arm onto the drone, and you get mind control Quidditch. And then after that, right, because then that demonstrates like, you
I
know,
feel like that's too
AI.
many inputs though, because like you have minimum 2 joints in the arm,
Yeah.
and then like 4 directions to move the drone in. That's like 6 inputs. That's like
And then after that, what you do is now you've demonstrated AI working in tandem with the brain, and so then you then create a mind-controlled exoskeleton, and then you compete in the cyberthon. It's like Paralympics for cyborgs. Yeah, at ETH Zurich, it's kind of next level. Like you have companies.
It's a real thing.
Did you guys know the Avatar
yeah.
competition?
Yeah. It's like
The Avatar competition.
oh, what's that?
It's another like brain computer interface.
Oh, what the fuck? Yo. Okay, we're going to do this.
But you have to pay $1,000 to get in. And
YOLO.
Hey,
that was
we
the
get-
early.
we
That was
get-
the early version. Like that's expired now. You have to pay a lot more to get in.
How much is it now?
I don't know, but
What-
it's probably gonna be way
what
more.
is it?
What's it called?
It's called Avatar. Let me just double check.
Avatar BCL. Okay.
Avatar. It's like a BCI competition.
Yeah, post it on the group.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
No, because the thing is, because U of T has like, U of T engineering will literally pay however much you need
You
for
guys
space
have fun?
competitions.
Oh, that's
Yeah. So like, yo, dude, like.
Yeah, like one of my friends told me about it. He's like, "Oh, it's cool. You can apply for it." But like, I don't have $1,000 lying around.
Can you give us like a brief summary of what like you do?
I didn't look into it too much because I just saw $1,000.
Oh, yeah.
So, but yeah, it's like an international BCI competition.
So what sort of BCL competition is it?
Yeah.
I think it's just like
Just drones? or-
anything.
Oh,
I
oh.
think it's a generic one.
Okay, that's cool. Huh. We can add it to the wish list, Taha.
Okay, what is it? I wasn't.
Like a BCL competition. I probably have to pay $1,000 to enter or some shit, but like.
What is the name? Do you have it?
I'm gonna double check the name.
How about, any more ideas?
Yeah.
How about, let's do like one final round and then give it.
Okay. All right. I guess we can go around again. Yeah, sure.
How about this time though? Let's try and do low hanging fruit ideas. So like think of problems that can be solved by some some sort of application of tech. Okay, so for example, one like simple problem that like I really want to do soon is like for example, like I have ADHD, right? And like I found it recently, and like. So then, I go to the psychiatrist, right, and they're like, okay, you need some serotonin pills or some shit or whatever, and, but like, the prescription dosage depends on each person, right? And so like, pretty much, it's like a game of guess and check, and like, they give you a prescription, right, before that you take a baseline of how your concentration is, your mood, this, that, the other, you have to do all this shit, and then like, then you start taking the drugs, and then you fucking monitor this every single day, right? And then based on those reports, they change it, right? And so like I was talking to one of my friends, and he's like, "Yo, aren't you in a neurotech club?" And I was like, "Oh shit! You can just use a Muse or something. Take like Neurodoro or whatever, right? So like like the whole 25-minute thing, right? But then, it's just like maybe like a 5-point scale. How well could you concentrate? But it also has your brainwaves, right? So then that super summarizes like the whole sort of like diagnostic process slash like like medication tuning, right? And that's not even that hard. Like you could probably get that done in a afternoon if you wanted to,
So
right? And like that's actually something that I'm gonna do like once the competition is done because I really need to get on my medication.
So like medications or diagnosis medication.
Well, so pretty much
Prescription.
so like using brainwaves to adjust dosages of psychiatric drugs. But yeah, so like, you see how like that's like, it's like a solution's not that hard.
Isn't that kind of like dangerous though?
No, why would it be dangerous?
So like, if there's any error and you adjust your dose,
You
like
probably like run it into your psychiatrist.
yeah, but like if you wanted to make like a commercial or something, you probably have to go through a lot of approvals.
So there is a company doing that right now actually, but they're doing it for like next level shit. Like
I know like
it's
in
actually
medtech,
crazy.
there's a lot of restrictions. Like they make
Yeah,
it really
yeah,
hard
yeah.
to do anything.
there's like this one company, they'll literally like the whole thing is like they just give like Cognionics like headsets. They're like you just like put them on, but they're like 16 electrodes or whatever. And then the idea is you just give those to like doctors or whatever, right? The person just wears a headset for like 3 minutes or something, and then there's some sort of like task or some shit that you have to do. Then based on the brainwaves, it'll tell you like what psychiatric disease or like condition or whatever you have. So is it like, and then they'll also tell you what the recommended what do you call it, like treatment approach is, which is fucking insane. They have like a patent on that and everything, but
But isn't everyone's brain different? Like, what that even?
exactly, yeah. So then you're able. So then once you have a good understanding of the brain waves, you can then start tailoring shit.
Oh, okay. So they like customize it.
Yeah.
Per person. Yeah.
Actually, okay, so I didn't do mine yet. So,
Yeah.
actually, like, on YouTube, I like, just watched this like short video about, there's another like neurotech university group, I think, Urbana-Champaign or whatever.
Yeah.
So they did their their project, where they use like the EEG headset and they put it on someone's dog actually. Yeah,
Yeah.
and then so they used those brainwaves to determine like what the dog like wanted or something. So like if it was
Yeah.
like if it saw like a treat or something, it'd be like, oh, I want
So
this treat.
one thing about that was super pop sci. And like it's really because so like Taha and I went to this like neurotech conference or whatever, and like every professor like made a joke out of that. They're like, yeah, so remember this dog brain thing? Yeah, it doesn't work. Y'all are stupid. I was like, anyways, we never go with her.
But so that's not my idea. But I was like, okay, maybe that could be used for like that similar idea can be like put towards like babies. So like what newly like new parents basically, they're inexperienced with like taking care of babies and children, right?
Yeah.
And it's very hard to tell sometimes what the baby needs or wants. So like maybe using like through recording or getting EEG data from their babies.
That's cool.
Yeah,
they might understand it.
One thing that
I
like,
have an idea to extend on that actually, sorry
Oh,
to
yeah.
interrupt. They do a lot of this based on, using machine learning based on their sound and their face, like facial recognition.
Yeah.
They've done a lot of that, but it still has, a look better to get as for the benchmarks because it's just so variable. But what's interesting is that we have babies, many instances, hospitalized for the first sometimes month of their life. We have like this, not database, this huge, let's say crowd of babies in a hospital where there is an EEG accessible for free. If they can just consent to it, they can wear it, and this can be tracked, and the data set could be
You can make it
taken
PG
there.
hat. That's a
Mhm.
baby cow.
Sure.
Oh yeah, no,
Exactly.
no, that's perfect. Yeah.
Dude, that's pretty sick.
Oh, what? So what are you gonna say?
wait, do like babies even know? Like they're just born. Do they even know what hunger is? How do they know what they want? Is that
Like-
possible?
Pretty instinctive.
Yeah. It's like
Alright, I guess.
like,
Do babies
hunger
know
isn't
that they
like-
want food? Like because they don't know what hunger is, right? Like
No, it doesn't it doesn't depend on knowing.
It's
Their
like-
system would know, right? Like if
Yeah,
they
like-
eat
Exactly.
food.
If they eat food and they
oh,
get
okay,
better,
okay,
that means that they-
okay.
Yeah.
So you like measure the brainwaves when they're hungry or like that.
Exactly. When they're like, I don't know, sad state or whatever.
But how do you know that they're hungry?
Huh?
How do you know in the first place?
It's like hunger is like an instinctive thing, right?
Yeah.
I know, I mean,
it's
like, okay, the
you
baby
don't-
knows, but how do we know that the baby was hungry?
Yeah.
To measure that brainwave, to create the data
I
set.
guess it's trial and error.
I think at the point you just have to do like a lot of like correlation stuff. Just like record a lot of brainwaves plus record a lot of like emotional expression and like this and that, and just like
Maybe you can even link it to like an adolescence. When an adolescent is hungry, they might have similar brainwaves.
It's actually parents.
Actually,
Or maybe
Okay,
the baby
okay,
stops crying,
okay,
you knew
let's-
that it was
let-
hungry.
let's get
Like,
some
baby's
neuroscience
crying, start
here.
recording, and then if it eats the food and it stops crying, then you know, okay, this data was
Yeah.
hungry.
okay. So from a neuroscience perspective, Taha and Sam,
Yeah.
what do you guys think? Because I'm sure we're doing a lot of bullshit right now.
No, actually, like when it comes, So this is more even like a set perspective. When babies are born, they have like a certain amount of instincts. They have actually like 4 different classifications of instincts that they come up with.
Okay.
One of them is like suckling. So if you touch their cheek, like they'll start suckling. And like I'm sure you can record like what drove that behavior. And if
Interesting.
you can kind of, I guess, set kind of a baseline as to like, okay, so like this behavior from, let's say, rubbing on the cheek, because that's what they like assume that the mother's breast is there, right? So they start initially, if you start going like this to their cheek, the baby will start to suck. If you try to, if you can find out like what, I guess, what sensory input drove to that, then yeah, I'm sure you can find like relative, because it's also so little. Actually, I'd say it's easier to do it on babies because there's so little going on that you can probably actually categorize better.
Also, they don't have any hair, or like,
And
that's
that's-
like,
that's-
yeah, right.
Oh,
And like,
yeah.
you know, people like,
skull ever.
yeah.
And
And their brain
yeah.
is tiny.
And it'd probably be cheaper to make anyway, small scale. Like yeah, there's a lot of benefits to
It exists. It exists. You have a crowd of them. You have like a whole population worth
That
of
is-
babies
yeah.
in a hospital. Things.
That's cool.
It's something that you can't gather in a real world battles. But more importantly,
That's actually-
as you say, it's really basic. They just have
Right.
one or two reflexes working
Like a
together.
laptop.
Yeah.
Wait,
There's
no,
actually one
there's
here.
another-
Oh yeah, there's
Yeah,
one.
there's one here.
I
Yeah,
think it's
there's
actually 4
yeah,
basic
yeah.
primitive instincts that they come up with.
Just sell like a little baby.
But
parents and
actually, yeah, there's like
Yeah.
this reflex. If
Grip, yeah.
the baby is less than 4 months old, if you scratch its the sole, what it's gonna do is it's gonna do this, the dorsiflexion, like the little toe.
Yeah.
The little toe.
Oh, I know about that. I just know
Sorry.
the grip.
I'm gonna
Oh,
move
that's-
this now. I'm
that's
like
the-
recording this right
that's that
now.
one?
So
No, yeah, that's I'm talking about the sole,
I don't know.
not the palm.
sorry.
But what
Hey, Nick,
if you scratch it, that's
could you
a
back up a little?
Babinski,
I'm just trying to record this, yeah.
I don't remember the names because it's like kind
Uh-huh.
of goofy, but I agree.
Yeah.
I agree that like the fact that
This is
it's
kinda
little
bougie.
Exactly.
yeah, you can definitely.
All right.
Yeah, but after 4 months, if you do this, you're just gonna, scratch it away,
Yeah.
shoot it away. They don't have that reflex anymore.
So wait, what would we be looking? I kind of tune up for a sec. What would we be looking for if we were to use this on it, just to see if there's any area?
No, so it's more like to help new parents understand how to take care
know
of
what
their
they're
babies
crying
better.
about.
Yeah, so we know what they're crying about, yeah.
But then interestingly, actually, this could even have bigger impact, like a huge effect on just understanding learning. Because this one group from, of course, MIT Media Lab, because like who the fuck else? So they're literally crazy. Like it's like both of them. So like both the husband and the wife worked at MIT Media Lab, and so they're like, you know what? Oh, we have a baby, so we're gonna deck out our entire house with microphones and video cameras, and it literally 24-hour monitored this baby, what he was saying, what the people around him were saying, how he was moving, everything. And so through a shit ton of data, and they did this for like I think like 3 or 4 years, and so through a shit ton of data analysis, they were literally able to figure out when the baby would learn new words and what most likely caused the learning of those words. Yeah, like in terms of and like they found like a lot of really there's like a TED talk on this. It's just so cool. But like imagine like if you were to like repeat that same experiment, but with this like baby EEG head cap, and like see like what sort of like cross frequency what sort of like cross frequency coupling stuff would be happening in like different parts of the brain, right? Like what different parts of the brain are talking to each other and how like I think that would be a huge step in cognition and in like understanding cognition. Yo.
So yeah, that's what.
What's up?
Okay, that's for the feeding behavior, not eating, but for the feeding behavior. So there's a bunch of input that your brain gets, the base of your brain gets, and including your sensory cortex, what you're seeing, what you're hearing, and there's that one output from it. So it's pretty well defined. They go through this in HMB 200 as well.
Okay.
So yeah, I just drove this not as to try to learn it or anything. It means that it's actually pretty well defined. We know what region is doing what.
Oh.
Yes, in feeding behavior for getting hungry.
Yeah.
Sometimes let's say one region of this one specific cell type goes ARI, it becomes AH. It becomes what's it called? And when they don't eat. like
What we got?
AH, yes. AN, sorry. Something nervosa. When they
Anorexia?
anorexia nervosa.
It sounds like something.
No, not in
Oh, okay,
babies.
okay.
No. Like that's just AH going
Oh,
right
okay,
here.
okay.
Yeah.
What do you think, Rebecca?
I think it's really interesting. I think that's definitely worth like the baby have.
Yeah.
That could definitely become like a big thing.
Yeah.
That could be so cool.
Like, it
Yo.
can make
Because there's
very-
literally parents everywhere.
Yeah.
Like it applies to almost
And plus,
everyone.
yeah, and like, you know, it just gives you such a good understanding of the cognition.
Yeah.
It can even be used for like diagnosis, like early diagnosis.
Yeah.
of,
Because
like,
if everyone,
disabilities.
if all these parents
Oh,
buy this
fuck,
tab,
yeah.
we have like a
Have,
whole
big
bunch of
data
babies
for
giving us
point, and
data.
if some baby
Like-
or babies aren't hitting those milestones, you know, you can assume safely or have a good guess.
Oh,
dude, Try supplementing.
Yeah, when they grow up, you can like look at the brain activity of like maybe like smarter people. Like what was their brain activity when they were a kid, and maybe like.
Well, I mean, like, there's also, like, there's many different types of smartness as well, right? So,
Yeah.
like, I
Oh,
think
okay,
Yeah.
but like
being able to, like, understand
maybe certain
how that-
personality traits or something.
Yeah, maybe,
Sure, yeah.
like, there's so much shit.
There's
that
so
you
much
can figure
studies
out.
you can
One
do.
of them becomes George Mason.
Something that you can also look into, which like, I don't know what purpose would be, but just to understand it better could lead to other things. At an age where you want to be doing these things for, that's when like neural pruning is at its highest. And
What
like,
is that?
So you're born with way more connections in the brain than you have now. Like babies are, like when you were a baby, it was the closest thing you've been to like a synesthetic ever.
Yeah.
So like, if you can define like the pathways to like how neurons get pruned, maybe you can like either
Oh,
reverse it or alter
shit.
it. and Just you can fuck with a lot. I don't know exactly where that's going, but like you could probably fuck with a lot if you can
Yeah.
like, figure out how, like how is it that like, for example, like that, like you know how like everything besides like smell goes through the thalamus, right?
Yeah.
That's the thalamus isn't fully like segregated. It's developed, but it's not like segregated into
Okay,
different
okay.
senses. So like a baby will be able to tell the difference between like two different squirrel heads, which that's like the same, right? And that's because of these extra sensory.
Oh,
inputs.
really? Oh,
And we
Yeah.
lose that. We
Yeah.
lose that as we grow up, right? So if we're able to like reduce that or like alter it, or at least find like when or how that goes down. Like maybe I don't have an end goal
So-
with this. I'm just
Yeah.
you.
That's still so
Yeah,
know why,
in
yeah.
evolution and in our development from a baby to an adult, you get you get the different parts separated because you have bottlenecks of information. So you would layer your system based on the bottleneck of your information. But at the start, it's just a big graph that every cell is just a Gaussian in a Gaussian way connected to any other cell that it would work with.
So like this segregation which happens as we grow up, like what are the benefits of it?
Oh.
Because there must be a reason why
Yeah.
it happens, right?
So this is actually where it gets crazy because the benefits are relative to how your behavior will be.
Mhm.
Like,
Exactly.
So we like agriculture grown to be like what we are, right?
Yeah,
Your pruning happens with regards to like what you're expected to behave.
Oh, really?
Which is pretty fucked. Because
Oh,
at one
shit.
point, because at one point we needed, let's say, okay, so I don't know how anyone could confirm this, but when I was actually looking for the article for this week, I was reading about another article I didn't use, but
Yeah.
had to do with how neural pruning was different 100 years ago for taste. That we were able to taste a lot more because we like what we ate had like, we weren't as safe with what we were eating, right? We weren't going
Oh yeah.
to like supermarkets weren't what they were. You know what I mean? So you would have to taste. You would actually have to taste whether this is gonna kill you or not. And like now because we've evolved to this level, like
and eat more sterile stuff.
Yeah,
So
we
we don't know.
yeah, we have no idea. Fast food with just grocery stores like making everything like 99.999% safe. Like
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
just we lost that ability. So
Why don't you
our-
come to the Hacker News this often, dude?
Oh, I usually work. This is the first Sunday I'm
Oh,
working.
fuck.
I usually work from 10 to 6 if it's I hate Sundays. But this Sunday I don't.
Well, that's
This is
awesome.
good. It's cool though. It's definitely a cool thing to.
So,
Oh.
That's fantastic.
So that was like an
Um,
evolutionary thing?
yeah.
Okay, so this would like actually be a pretty interesting like project for
Yeah.
nerd
Yeah.
UT to do.
It might though, because of that process, we might get a lot of bad feedback back. Not like public, but I meant from like results. Because
Oh,
if
yeah.
you're testing on a baby and like you're gonna see things that someone of our age is not capable of, or I don't know how it would register. I don't even think it I don't know, what would we be using? Just like something similar to like a
Well,
user space,
no,
like an EEG?
no, even just making that initial device.
You just take a
Yeah,
baby
yeah,
cap,
just
stick
like
electrodes in it.
You know what the,
Getting
you know what the
feedback,
point is? The
feedback comprehend,
difference.
right?
But
Is
how
that
much,
what you're saying? How are we able to feed through like, okay, like this is just a pruning effect? Like, how
Okay,
are we able to-
so let me tell you this, the amounts that we see in a baby, you know, pediatric neurology, it's a field that is already there. So they have information on babies. The babies in general don't change in the matter of 50 years.
No, no, no.
When the you know, science started until right now. So it takes another 1,000 years to see the differences between the brains of these babies or the babies that will be born. So it's pretty much the same. There is information about that.
Oh,
So
okay.
don't worry, we don't need to
Oh,
compare
I'm
it to
saying that.
mine.
Oh, no, of course not, I'm not saying that. What I was saying was more like, how are we, in our results, let's say we get, let's say for example, one day, just data that we get is different from the rest. How do we know that that's either like, you know, maybe them going through an issue, or is that just neural pruning and we're just observing it? Like, how do we?
So
how do we
I think
tell-
like
By tracking longitudinally. Tracking the same person. Please.
You'd also have, so you can do multimodal data. So like, you know, see what the baby is hearing, see what they're, you know, like seeing, how they're moving, like who's talking to them, like all of that stuff, right? Because like, yeah, similar to the other study that the MIT Media Labs did.
By the
This
way,
is some next one.
I also do have a little objection on getting a little bit too cognitive on what we're studying in a matter of physiology, because when we're giving them a cap, what we're getting is just raw data. So a physiologist has to have a different point of view, different set of at least scientific practices from a psychologist or a cognitive scientist. Because the physiologist has to remain absolutely neutral to everything. Usually, neurophysiologists don't make an opinion. People who read their work make an opinion. Because if you do have an opinion about the cognitive processes or the cognitive changes that are going to affect this, it'll affect your study as well. So physiology has to usually remain out of this. But what's good about Neurotech U of T is that we have cognitive scientists, we have neurophysiologists, we have people who do ECE, everything together, and it can get all connected. So that's
Actually,
definitely
wait, on
true.
that note-
But for the planning, long-term planning, I don't think we have to let the cognitive science take the 100% of the power, because we have to remain neutral. That's what I'm
Oh,
saying.
I'm not trying to give a biased or perspective, I'm just asking how,
Oh, yeah.
how we can, I guess, read data with all that going on, with neural pruning, with learning and development, how are we even filtering data? That's more where that question is.
So the question would be answered by the fact that neurophysiology has been underway for tens of years without even without the need to consider those changes. So when we're talking about pruning, that only is introduced in the matter of at least days or months or years. But when we're doing neurophysiology, we're specifically thinking about this specific region that has this specific genes active in it for at least the amount of time that we have, information on. We know what cell gets active when, so we can record it. That's what I'm saying.
Actually, wait.
You don't need to. Neural pruning is bringing an outside concept that is emergent from the system. That's what I'm saying. In designing our experiments, we don't have to see the emergent properties, because we have all these different people, like all individuals, each are different units, but in total we make Neurotech U of T. Like, that is the emergent property. Pruning is the emergent property. We don't need to see it when we're just looking at the cells. If I'm taking his blood pressure, I don't care about Neurotech.
Just one question to Rebecca, actually, because you're like super interested in this. What effect would music have on this like pruning stuff? Or like, I guess, like how much, like what effect does like, just the type of music that babies are exposed to like have on their cognitive development?
I don't know, like I've read like some things that like kids that listen to classical music, like they like kids that like play music, like classical music, their math skills are higher.
Really?
Yeah, because like apparently when you play music or like when you compose music, it activates, if I'm correct, like the math area of your brain, and I'm pretty sure the language area of your brain. I think, but definitely the math one. I don't know about what it would have on babies. I guess maybe if they started listening from like a really young age, that could affect like certain things, but
Some,
neural,
like-
neural pruning, I don't know.
Okay. This is some crazy like nature versus nurture shit like right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so please.
I think, what I was trying to ask is like, is there like, do we know how to like filter out or classify between what's neural pruning and like what's actually?
Or how do you even just like how do you make sense of all this data?
Yeah.
Neural
Are there
pruning
ways
is
to
not
do that?
biological, that is cognitive.
No, it's not.
No, it is based on biological processes, but it's an emergent thing, that's what I'm saying. You can only observe it in a human, you can't observe it in biology as much.
Well, there's pruning proteins that cause that, right? It's a bunch of, I would argue that it's more biological than it is cognitive.
It is, as I'm saying, it's the differences in the different cells, the expression of this protein in this cell, rather than getting turned off the other one that was before it. But in the human brain, these changes one by one doesn't cause pruning. That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
It's like
yeah.
the matter of physiology versus like let's say one region modeling or whole human modeling. It depends on the input, amount of input that you get, and the amount of co-working that you get. So I'm saying it's the co-working between all of these little changes that makes the pruning.
I agree.
Yeah.
But like, just to go back, not even to continue on the subject, but just the fact that our pruning is determined on our expected behavior, and pruning arises from pruning proteins, that kind of could lead to the fact that proteins have learned what they behave like. If they
Yeah,
behave-
yeah.
It's pretty
This
cool
is
thought.
This is just
It's just like a fun thing to just discuss a little bit. Well,
Exactly.
fun.
See, but then like, okay, but then these proteins are then being, I'm assuming like these proteins are being regulated by gene expression, right?
Yeah.
And so then now you're getting to like epigenetics and shit.
Literally epigenetics from I guess just an evolutionary sense. Like literally, it's not even, well, I guess it's not epigenetics if it was destined to be, right? Because like epigenetics is usually just a change in which should like if you get a traumatic experience and you develop like PTSD or something, that could be something about epigenetics because you weren't really supposed. That wasn't supposed to.
Yeah, there's an interesting article about how children, I don't know if you guys heard about it, but like children of people who've gone through PTSD are more likely to go through it. And I think specifically it's from the dad to the son relation, which was the strongest. So like if my dad was in prison for like 20 years, got out, even though I have no experience, I'm more likely to experience the same sort of PTSD.
Here's the thing, like with all of this, like what's the ethics? Like,
Well, yeah.
because like, you're literally doing like whole baby monitoring and like some crazy ass shit.
Yeah.
Right,
Gives
but
you
like-
permission for
It
that
really all
too.
depends how you pitch it. I mean,
Yeah.
If you're pitching it in a way to like help new parents, well, you can almost like put ethics to the side because that's very attractive. You're pitching it as we're gonna monitor, study, and then filter data from your baby to predict how it's gonna behave in such and such a situation. Well, then that's
But I feel
marketing.
like that would come out at some stage anyway, regardless of how you present it. Someone might view it like that.
Oh,
And
someone,
then
but like if the new neurotic parent, I don't think is thinking. I mean, it really all depends on how you market. If you're
yeah,
gonna- if you're gonna
and
make
how
this a product.
and how we're to market.
Yeah, that's a marketing issue,
Oh.
which is fine. You can just model anything apples up to that.
Yeah.
So would the pruning stuff like affect eating or needing to go to the bathroom, needing to take a shit?
Yeah, actually, so what you don't know. So this is something that I tried to explain to my parents about dogs. Yeah, when you get a puppy, same thing with babies. Like bring it back. When they like shit in the house, something like that, it's their fault. Babies don't shit in diapers because they didn't learn how to go. Like they just don't have control of that. There's no synapses. It just goes. It's full of goes. And you actually develop those connections as you age. And that's the only thing you ask is it's actually something. Yeah.
One thing I would add to this is obviously, there is different ways for each and every cell to learn and for each and every population to learn, by which we would have different types of memories. We have instrumental memories, we have the memories that are not conscious, we have memories that your basal ganglia, your motor memories, like how to drive, stuff like that, and we have the episodic memories. So the information about specific episodes. I went to school yesterday, or it could be experiential or it could be external as well. So these are just too many subtypes of it. So there's definitive, and each one of them, one specific region of the brain is in charge of it. So one thing that I would argue against is that it's not the fact that at the start the baby's brain is all interconnected. No, that is not correct. That some of them get cut off and this happens all the same. And for the thalamus, one of the reasons is that we still have cell generation and stem cells up to the second year of our development. So like babies we have that's the wave. The big wave is after 2 years. But that's why you don't remember anything before 2 years of age. Most of the people, 98% of the people, don't remember anything before they were 2 years old, which is because almost all the cells in your hippocampus that are indexing all different memories with the autobiographical anchors get just regenerated. There's new cells coming in their place.
Yeah, of course, it's not.
And
all
they're
of them.
different.
Yeah, sure.
It's
I'm
all
not saying when I brought up pruning, I wasn't saying everything gets pruned. Most things actually get developed. I mean, like the baby doesn't know how to walk. Well, obviously it's muscles and stuff, but like also just didn't learn that yet.
Yeah,
I
they
mean,
haven't learned.
There's more.
Exactly.
There's more. I'd say there's more new connections than there are pruning. Just in specific regions, especially for like sensations. It is pruning, but yeah, obviously if you take into consideration it's all different, like depending.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Sure. Yeah, and one of the important things to note about this is that a baby is the result of million years of evolution. We can't say that a baby is as blank as it is. No, it's very well equipped to become the adult person. It's not that the baby is nothing or everything, and it's like a canvas. No, it's actually a functioning unit, which is also physiological. That's what I'm saying. So we can take all the information from the EEG, and there wouldn't be any problem with that, and even with neural pruning. So in development, you would see changes. They're documented. As you're saying, pruning has been studied for years and years, right? So the data for that would exist in the literature as well. We know if the baby grows, this is going to get more active, this is going to get less active. Would you agree, Sam?
I think, yeah, I mean, definitely not a blank canvas, which is great because for what we're trying to do, if it was a blank canvas, we'd get no data, right? So, yeah, I mean, I agree with everything you said.
Come to a consensus.
Dude,
That was
crazy. I learned a lot from that discussion, actually.
that was an intense discussion.
Yeah.
I recorded all of that.
Oh, nice.
You did?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a good thing.
Now we know what it feels like to be
Lord.
these babies.